Basketball is not what it was back in the late 1800s. From a simple game invented by James Naismith to a global phenomenon, the history of basketball is filled with remarkable moments, legendary players, and groundbreaking changes. Let's take a journey through time and explore how basketball has evolved into the sport we know today. The birth of basketball. In the late 1800s, a teacher named James Naismith wanted to keep his students active during the cold winter months. He needed a game that could be played indoors, so he came up with basketball. Naismith used a soccer ball and 2 peach baskets as the goals, hanging them at each end of the gym. The aim was simple, to throw the ball into the opposing team's basket. But in the beginning, basketball was pretty rough around the edges. Players couldn't dribble the ball like they do now, and the rules were still being figured out. They used soccer balls, and the baskets were literally just wooden peach baskets. Can you imagine playing with those? As time went on, though, people started tinkering with the game to make it better. They added metal rims to the baskets, so the ball would bounce off more predictably. Plus, they finally allowed players to dribble, which made the game a lot more exciting. Then, in 1906, a big moment happened. They introduced metal hoops to replace the wooden baskets. Now, when players made a shot, the ball would actually go through the hoop, making the game smoother and more enjoyable. And that was just the beginning of basketball's journey from a simple gym activity to a global sensation. The rise of professional basketball. As basketball grew in popularity, people started to realize that there was potential for it to be more than just a fun game played in school gyms. They saw that there was a demand for organized competitions and decided to create professional leagues. One big step forward happened in 1906 when they replaced the wooden peach baskets with metal hoops. This made the game more reliable and allowed for better scoring. Plus, they finally let players dribble the ball, which made things a lot more interesting. With these improvements, the National Basketball League, NBL, was formed in 1906, marking the beginning of professional basketball in the United States. Now, players could compete for money and fame, and fans could watch their favorite teams play against each other. But the game kept evolving. In 1949, the NBL merged with another league called the Basketball Association of America, BAA, to form the National Basketball Association, NBA. This was a big deal because it brought together the best teams and players under one umbrella, making the NBA the premier basketball league in the world. With the formation of the NBA, basketball entered a new era of professionalism. Players were now able to make a living playing the game they loved, and fans had a new level of excitement and competition to enjoy. And it all started with a simple idea: to turn basketball into a professional sport. The dominance of the Celtics and Lakers, the Boston Celtics and Los Angeles Lakers, have long been synonymous with success in professional basketball. Led by legends like Bill Russell and Larry Bird for the Celtics, and Magic Johnson and Kobe Bryant for the Lakers, these franchises dominated the NBA for decades. The Celtics dynasty of the 1950s and 1960s, under coach Red Auerbach, saw them win an unprecedented 11 championships, with Russell anchoring their defense. Meanwhile, the Lakers, with stars like Jerry West and later Magic Johnson, became perennial contenders, winning multiple championships. The rivalry between the Celtics and Lakers reached its zenith in the 1980s, as Bird and Magic captivated fans with their on-court battles in multiple NBA finals. The competition between these two iconic franchises elevated basketball to new heights and cemented their status as basketball powerhouses. Even as new stars emerged in later years, such as Kobe Bryant for the Lakers and Paul Pierce for the Celtics, the rivalry between these teams remained intense. Their storied history and championship successes continue to define the legacy of professional basketball to this day. The emergence of superstars. Superstars are like the shining stars of basketball. They're the players who stand out the most and wow everyone with their incredible skills. Back in the day, there was George Mikan, who was like a giant on the court and dominated the game in the 1950s. But it was in the 1980s that the idea of a basketball superstar really took off. Players like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Michael Jordan became household names. Bird and Magic had this amazing rivalry that got everyone excited, while Jordan was like a basketball superhero, flying through the air and scoring points like nobody else. Jordan wasn't just great at basketball, he was also a huge deal off the court. He became famous all around the world and helped make the NBA really popular. As time went on, more superstars came along, each bringing their own special skills to the game. Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, and Tim Duncan were some of the big names in the following years, continuing the tradition of excellence on the court. Today, we have superstars like LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Stephen Curry, who light up the basketball court with their amazing talent. They're not just great players, they're also role models who inspire people both on and off the court. The evolution of playing style. In the early days of basketball, the game was a lot slower and more focused on basic skills like passing and shooting. Players didn't move around as much, and there wasn't as much emphasis on things like speed and athleticism. But as the years went by, players started to get more creative with their moves and techniques. One big change came in 1979, when they added the three-point line to the court. This made shooting from long range a lot more important, and players started practicing their three-point shots more than ever before. Then, in the 1980s and 1990s, we saw the rise of players like Michael Jordan, who brought a whole new level of athleticism to the game. Jordan could jump higher and move faster than anyone else on the court, and he used those skills to score points in ways that no one had ever seen before. In the early 2000s, we saw the emergence of players like Shaquille O'Neal, who showed that size and strength could be just as important as speed and agility. Shaq was a dominant force in the paint, using his size to overpower defenders and score points at will. But perhaps the biggest change in playing style came with the rise of players like Stephen Curry in the 2010s. Curry revolutionized the game with his incredible shooting ability, making three-pointers from distances that seemed impossible. Suddenly, teams started focusing more on shooting threes and spreading the floor, rather than just relying on big men to score inside. Today, we see a mix of all these different styles on the court. Some players are big and strong like Shaq, while others are fast and agile like Iverson. Some focus on shooting threes like Curry, while others excel at passing and playmaking like LeBron James. With players constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible on the court, basketball fans can always expect to see something new and exciting every time they watch a game. The globalization of basketball. In recent decades, basketball has become a truly global phenomenon, with players from all over the world making their mark on the NBA. International stars like Dirk Nowitzki, Yao Ming, and Giannis Antetokounmpo have brought diverse playing styles and cultures to the league, further enriching the sport's appeal and fan base. As we look to the future, basketball is poised for even more innovation and growth. With advancements in technology and the potential for expansion to new markets, the possibilities for the sport are endless. From its humble beginnings to its status as a global phenomenon, the history of basketball is a testament to the power of sport to unite, inspire, and entertain. As we continue to celebrate the game and its players, let us remember the journey that has brought us to where we are today and look forward to the countless memories and moments that lie ahead in the world of basketball.